Look, here's my brand new application. It's called, well, English with Lewis, and you can download it for free on the App Store. And it'll help you become fluent in English. But before I show you how it works, let me tell you a story about the journey of how I made this dream come true. I've been an English teacher for over a decade, but this really began about a year ago. Last Christmas, after working for Teachify as Chief Product Officer for over 6 years, I made the tough, difficult decision to quit my job and go solo, becoming my own boss. You see, I moved to Brussels about 3 years ago, and I was a bit uncertain, unsure about my future and how guaranteed my future as an English teacher actually was. Which is why I started posting these short videos on Instagram and TikTok. Back then, it was just a hobby and maybe a way of getting some extra students because, well, here in Brussels, it's pretty expensive. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, show off, brag, or boast, but last year, I hit over 500,000 followers on Instagram and lots of other followers across other platforms, so I backed myself to earn more money working for myself than I was working for my ex-employer. So in January, I handed in my notice. This means I said I was going to quit directly to my boss. So I started promoting my own classes whilst also still working part-time for Teachify, just to give me that safety net so I knew I'd be able to earn at least a little bit of money to pay the bills. Luckily, by Easter I had lots of regular students, and at Easter I finished my final class working for my last company, and that chapter had closed. All of this experience was so enriching, challenging, and motivating. Every day I was learning something new, every day is a school day. We learn by doing, and the same goes for learning English. If you don't speak, you don't improve, and if you are an entrepreneur, if you don't do things, you're not going to learn how to do them. It's obvious, isn't it? But at this time it was also a little bit stressful, because I had no idea how much money I was going to earn each month. I depended 100% on students booking again and again in order to make ends meet. And make ends meet means to pay all of your bills. So I needed to make a change. And I did. I changed my website provider, which enabled me to have a subscription model. So regular students could pay less per lesson, but it would give me more of a guarantee of how much I was going to earn every month. It gave me peace of mind. And well, it was a huge success. I was buzzing. I was on cloud 9. I was over the moon. That being said, I was knackered, exhausted, shattered, because I was teaching 8 or 9 hours, 5 days a week. And not only that, I was also making and editing daily short videos and 3 or 4 weekly YouTube videos across this channel and English con Lewis. I had a lot on my plate. Obviously, I didn't want to burn out, but I'm ambitious and also very curious about the impact of AI, artificial intelligence. I was always recommending using ChatGPT to practice speaking for my students. And then it dawned on me. I had the so-called light bulb moment. What if I could clone my voice and create an application so students could speak to me 24/7 on their phones whenever they wanted? Then again, there was a big hurdle, a big problem. I am absolutely useless when it comes to technology. It took me like a month to make a basic website for my English classes. So how on earth would I be able to make an application? It sounded so complicated. So, well, I gave up. But now you know the end of the story. I didn't give up forever. I just needed to team up with someone who is tech savvy, entrepreneurial, and into artificial intelligence. An app developer who is as excited about creating my vision of English with Lewis application as I was. And as I still am, of course. Then, as luck would have it, in October I went to Paris for a weekend with a friend. We ate some lovely croissants, steak frites, escargot, and had some delicious wine. Cheers! And we met up with Eric, an app developer who has a vast experience of developing applications. All sorts of apps using artificial intelligence. And he's also been involved in scaling and developing multiple startups too. And on top of that, he was using language learning apps to improve his Spanish and his English, but none of them felt like they did everything that he wanted them to do. So, it was perfect! He was the ideal partner who could turn this dream into a reality. And he was maybe even more excited than I was to get started. Merci, Eric! So we got talking, having meetings, talking about our vision, the features, and here's more or less what it looked like.
Hey Eric, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Hey Lewis, what's up?
Not bad, I cannot complain. But anyway, let's get to the point. Let's cut to the chase.
Alright, so what is the mission of English with Lewis?
Well, the mission is to provide a complete, affordable English learning application so students of all levels, but in particular intermediate and advanced, can immerse themselves in British English by speaking to me, doing role plays, looking up new words and phrases, reviewing these phrases as well, because, you know, practice makes perfect, or at least practice makes progress, and having, you know, everything just at the click of a button so they can improve their English and become fluent using English with Lewis.
Amazing. I do really think that we can do that. Let me get started and we'll touch base soon.
Okay, looking forward to it. Let's do this, Eric.
Let's go!
Now, what were the next steps? I uploaded hours of my podcast to a specific software so it could clone my voice and end up with more or less the same voice, stress, intonation as, well, the real me. It is uncanny. It is so cool how you can create something that sounds just like you. But it is a little bit creepy. Here are some examples.
Hello, thank you, and happy Christmas to you too. How are you celebrating the holiday season? It's time to go to bed, and in the morning you'll wake up and Santa will have been... What do you think will happen next?
As we said during the meeting, you can talk to Lewis 24/7, whenever you want and about whatever you want. You can just have a chat, or you can also practice some specific role plays, specific situations like job interviews, going on a first date, booking a hotel, and many more. And if you struggle to have a fluent conversation, feel free to use the translate feature. That way, all of these conversations that you're having, well, you can translate them into your native language. But of course, you can do this with many different apps. So one thing that I insisted on incorporating is that when you are having these conversations, you can also click on words and phrases. You can look up the definition, see more examples, hear my voice pronouncing the words, and add it to your own vocabulary list. Then, using this vocabulary list, you can review, memorize, test yourself, and swipe left to right to, well, study using flashcards. So you can review, revise, and double check all of these words before, well, using them again with Lewis and using them in conversation. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Personally, I love looking up words and phrases that appear naturally when reading the news, listening to podcasts, watching TV, and other natural scenarios when you're using English. That's why we built a search tool. So you can look up any word, expression, or phrase, and then it will tell you the definition, an example sentence, and again, you can hear me pronouncing the word. and add it to your own vocabulary list and your flashcards. That way you can review, revise, and memorize these new words. Oh, and if the word doesn't exist yet in our database, then you can click on a button to generate the meaning using artificial intelligence. Robots are amazing, aren't they? And after that, have a chat with Lewis to really use the word in conversation once again. Apart from all of these amazing features, we have a word swiper, a streak monitor, an expression of the day, and we'll be constantly adding cool new features as well. So, what do you think? If you'd like to give it a go, it's completely free to download, and you can try all of the premium features for free, completely free, for 3 days. And if you can't afford to pay for it right now, it would mean the world to me if you could at least leave a 5-star review on the App Store. That way more people will be able to discover English with Lewis. Unfortunately, it's only available on the App Store at the moment, but it'll be available on Google Play as well in the very near future. So that's it. My dream come true. And a story of how it happened. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have fun using my application, English with Lewis. Thanks again, and see you next time. Bye bye!